Good morning, dear children. How are you all? Let's get started. And we are heading towards the end of our first chapter. It's a big, lengthy chapter for sure. You might have seen three different videos. So today we are ending towards the chapter, and today we are going to cover the topic, how do we start a computer? Okay. Yes, children. When you get your computer, as I said in the last class, saying that when you get your computer, do not be embarrassed to ask where the on button is. See children, what happens is many of the computers are designed in a different way. Like many of the mobiles are different to each other. Yes, someone's charging point is on the top, or someone's charging point is at the sideways, or someone's on button is at the side and someone's is on the up. Like the same way, even the CPUs are having their switching on button, right? On button is located in the different part of the CPU. Yes, children, are you able to see? This is the CPU in our computer lab. Yes, it's on switching on button. The power button is located over here. Some computers, for some computers, CPU switching on button will be on the top. Now, children, this is of a circle. It is in circle shape. Some systems they have the buttons in the square shape. So we will not be able. Some systems they have their CPU switching on button at the sides. Okay. So for that reason, if you're unaware about where the button is switching on button, do not be embarrassed to ask anybody, because all the systems are differently manufactured. Yes, turning on your computer, it's not always easy. Some manufacturers hide on button, for instance, on the top of the case, or flat on the front where you can't even see it. Now the first step is to switch on a computer is to find where the on button is. See, mostly, can you see the picture over here? On the laptops, we have such switching on buttons available. Okay, you have to find such kind of on buttons. It probably looks like this. Either it is in a square or a oblong shape. Oblong in the sense some little stretch, longer one, like an oval being stretched. Okay. And the next step, second step is to switch on that. Press it, push the button on the on some computers. The button lights up. Yes, children, as soon as you have seen it, right, in our computer lab also on the monitor, as soon as you switch on the monitor or the CPU, the light blinks. No, sorry, the light switch lights up. So the button lights up when the computer is on. Make sure that the plug or any of other wires haven't become disconnected. Saying that the wires of the computer should be properly connected. There should not be any disconnect. In the sense, the monitor and the CPU and keyboards, mouse, everything are connected properly. There is no loose connections. Ensure that monitor is turned on. Third step, the monitors. See, nowadays even the monitors have started coming with switch on and off buttons. So you have to switch it on. Most PCs monitor have an on and off buttons on the bottom corner of the screen. The button often lights up green when the monitor is on. So as soon as you switch on the monitor, the button gets switched on. Yes, children, can you see here? Can you see my finger? Yes, this is a green button on. I'll just off it. See, the button here is off. Now it is off. So I have to switch it on. Now it lighted up to green color. The same. So you're supposed to switch on the monitors also, the bottom corner of the screen. The button often lights up green when the monitor is on. The fourth step is you need to log in. Yes, children, you all are very well aware, right? As soon as you come and switch on the systems, I always tell you to put the password of your computers. Yes, yes, you're supposed to log in inside the system by putting the passwords. If you're using, if you're the only user, see, sometimes what happens, if I am using a computer which is my computer, I will not keep passwords because I am singly using it. But if 2-3 people are going to use it, it generally asks for we keep password and it generally asks for a password. For example, in school libraries, Mostly school libraries, what do we do is, because many students use it and you want to keep your file safe, you are supposed to use it with the passwords, okay? See, such kind of screens, you have seen it, right? Here, when you click on the icon, you will be asked for a password. You have to put the password and hit enter or click to the arrow beside it and you will be able to log into the first screen of your computer. What is the first screen of your computer? Yes, it is a desktop screen, correct? It is a desktop screen. When you turn on your or log on to your computer, what appears in front of you? Your screen is called desktop. This looks like an entrance through your this one. See here. Yes. Follow the steps by instructions to familiarize yourself with the basic parts of your computer desktop. Once you enter into it, children, the first and most important part is the work area. Okay. The work area which occupies the majority of your computer screen. This particular area, the first screen which you see once you log in is your work area. Now, second thing, children, if you are using a computer, now more commonly used applications are shortcuts. See, whatever you see on the computers, we call them as on the desktop screen are called as shortcut files. What are they? They are the shortcut files. Thus, the same way how we have for our mobiles, we have on the front screen also, and when we scroll up, you have all the list of applications, right? The same way here also. At the bottom of the desktop, a dark narrow band is there. I'll just show you. Okay, I'll just share with you. Can you see my screen? Yes. See here, the behind blue color is my desktop background, my work area, and these are the small files. What are they? They are the shortcut files, correct? And now children, can you see this dark at the bottom? You can see the dark one. I'll just raise it up for you. See now here, can you see here? It is a start button, correct? Yes. Now here, see this black color down one is called as taskbar. What is it called as? It is called as taskbar, wherein you can see how many. See now I have opened a flash file. There is a Zoom meeting going on. There is a Google Chrome opened. There is a file opened here. That's why all these tasks, I am working on 4 things now. I have opened a file. Children, I have opened a file. And then second thing, I have opened a Google Drive. I have opened a Zoom meeting, this one, and I am working on a PPT presentation. So all my 4 tasks are being seen to me on my taskbar. Imagine I am going to, this is a recycle bin, okay. I want to open a recycle bin. I'll double click it and I'll minimize it. Okay, it did not happen. Okay, here is a image. Okay, children, I have just opened an image. Yes, you can see a picture in front of you. I will minimize. See here, earlier only 4 tasks was there. Now I opened one image also. That I have minimized it. So it is on my taskbar. Correct? It is on my taskbar. Now I closed it up. We'll come back to our presentation. Step 4. If you press the Windows icon in your left-hand corner of your taskbar, you will get access to frequently used program, the search box for program and files, your document. Yes, children, I'll just show you. See, this screen appears here. Can you see here? At the left-hand corner, you can see a window button. When I click on the window button, I have this list of applications which are available for me on my particular system. Yes, so it helps me. Imagine I want to do painting, so I have to go here. I have to click on painting, correct? Like that, you have Tux Paint in your, I don't have it on my laptop, but you have in your system also. You remember from start button, you have to go and search for Tux Paint. See here, my Zoom app is available. My WhatsApp desktop is available. Everything is available for me on my system. Yes, next. When you click on Windows Explorer on the right side in the taskbar, you will find the library where documents, pictures, and music videos can be opened. Children, I'll show you. Okay. Here you can see a yellow color. Yes, you can see a yellow color icon, right? We call it as a picture image. The small image on the computer is called as icon. You can see. So if I click on this, so it will be open. I'll just show you. Okay. Yes, this is your file explorer. This is your file explorer. What do we call? Because it keeps all our files which we want to keep in our computer. Okay, that's why it is called as file explorer. Explorer in the sense, if you want to find any of the file, you have to click on that and this screen will be open, and here everything is available. All the files on the desktop, all the files in the download folder, all the files in your music folder, picture folder. So everything is available for you in that particular Windows Explorer. Sixth thing, let's see. Go to the far right of the taskbar. Message from Windows appears here. In this area, we have notifications. For example, telling you that a piece of hardware that you have just connected is ready to use. You can use the data and time plus useful items such as volume control and everything. I will take you. See, here you saw at the left hand side corner we saw start button, yes, and search window, and then you saw that files are here. Now let's take it to the right side corner. See, I'm taking my screen to the right side corner. Can you see in the right side? See, we have date, we have time, we have calendar. Yes, we have volume control also. From here only you can control the volume of your computer. If I click on this one, see, if I click on this one, if I click on this arrow, all this list of items have come in. See, we connect Bluetooth, right? We connect a lot of Bluetooth for our mobiles and laptops. We can connect it here. So it is. Imagine you have connected your mobile phone to, you know, right, children, we can connect our mobile phone to our computer. Plus we put lots of pen drives, right, for information. So when we put a pen drive here at this right side corner here, wherever this is displayed, there it will show saying that something new is connected to your system. If you want to use it, please open it. Correct? You can just click on that and a new thing will be connected. Now learn more about how icon in the taskbar works. Now what are the icons? And you can pin it up. There is something called pinning. We will see what is it. When a program is running, its icon always appears in the taskbar. I just showed you, right? See here also you can see here at the bottom corner, these icons are there because I was using these particular files. And if this one, if this one program is doing more than one thing, this will also become an indicated in the taskbar. There, here the Windows Photos viewer program is showing one photo. Okay, I'll just show you. Now let's take an example. See, one photo I have opened one photo. So it is showing one photo. If here it is open for two different pictures. Imagine two pictures are there. You can see, right? Two photos. Have a clear view here, children. See, two photos. One is in the front and one is at the back, behind. We can see there are two photos. Imagine you have done 2, 3, 4 photos. At one side only you can see 1, 2, 3. So it will be visible one by one behind each other. See, and when you go and click on that, it will show you all the three pictures. When you place your cursor, now imagine, see here. So when I'm not clicking anywhere, I'm just bringing my cursor here. So it is showing, it is popping up and showing what is happening behind this task. What is happening behind this task and how many pages are open, how many Google Chromes are open. Only one is there. Zoom app, see two. In Zoom app, there are two windows open. So it's showing me two windows. Here one particular flash PowerPoint is open, so it's showing me one only. Here one explorer. See here, two explorers are there. That's why it's showing me two explorers, right? You could now click on the view that you want to use it and open the particular file. This is how any program that have opened more than once will work in a taskbar. The steps, so 8 step, the above steps comprises a summary of what desktop does to learn about or go to wherever leave it. Unlike most electrical appliances, children, a computer should not be turned off by pressing the same button. See, when you press it on, right? When you press it on using the on button on your system, switching on is allowed only with that button. But for switching off, you should not press that button. This is wrong. Your computer will get spoiled. It will corrupt it. So you on the computer, see every electronic machine, the same button is for switching on and same button is for switching off, but for computer it is not allowed. So once you switch on from the CPU button, you are supposed to shut down. A computer should not be turned off by pressing the same button that you pressed it for turning it on. If you do that, you can actually lose the data or damage some of the processes in the machine. Think of turning off the computer properly as letting it fall asleep. Just push the on button or unplug the computer. So how to turn off now? See, we saw how to turn on. Now let's see how to turn off. Yes, children. See, you saw this Windows button, right? You have to click on that. And second thing, once you click on that, one option will come here, shut down. What it is? Shut down. So you are supposed to click on shutdown. Once you click on the shutdown, imagine, okay, you are working on 4 different things. See how I was working on 4 different things, right? If you're working on 4 different things and you have not closed that program, okay, you have not closed those programs and you're trying to shut down, computer will give you this notice. This in this black color it is there now, saying that these many files are still open. Do you want to shut down still, or do you want to close them and then shut down? Okay, so you are supposed to cancel it. Okay, you are supposed to cancel it. Then go to those particular files, close it, and then do the shutdown. Okay. Otherwise, if you click on shutdown, force the shutdown, what will happen? Computer will automatically go for shutting down. But whatever you were working on that particular file, all the data will be lost. Imagine you're doing some painting and you're doing forced shutdown. That painting will not be saved on your systems. Okay, you should take good care of your computer to keep it in a proper working condition. Some do's and don'ts for the what are the do's and don'ts for the computer? To turn off your computer, to start the start menu, click the start button and then lower corner you will have shutdown. Please use shutdown buttons only to switch off your computers. Do not go for button. When you click shutdown, your computer closes all the programs along with Windows itself and then completely turns off your computer and displays. Shutting down does not save our work. So you must save your file first and then do the shutdown. Click arrow next to the shutdown button for more options. Once you click on the, once you click, see here is shutdown. If you click it, okay. There's one more arrow button. If you click on that, you have more options. Switch user, log off, lock, restart, sleep, or hibernate. Do not sit close to the computer. Your eyes will go squared. Did you hear this lot as a teenager? Do your parents tell you still? You will fall ill. It affects, damages are caused by watching TV too closely. So even for that matter, children, you should not sit very close to the monitor. Second thing, press the keys of the keyboard very softly. See, holding this mouse should be this way, not this way. This is the right thing, this is the wrong thing. Hold the mouse properly. Do not touch the inner part of the computer. Never touch the inner part of the computer. In the CPU, do not put any fingers in. It has power inside that. Clean the monitor weekly. You should clean your monitor weekly. Always use a mouse pad to keep the mouse clean. See, this person has kept a pad below the mouse. You should keep it like that. Thank you. Children, with this, we finish our first chapter. I will be creating a worksheet for you people so that you people will be able to solve it. And with this, we finish our first chapter. Bye.